welcome back to the channel. Today I brought mind map of the lesson, the last lesson by Alphonse Dotte. So we'll quickly do it. This is going to help you in your last minute revision. Now here is the background. The last lesson it is set in the days of Franco-Prussian War 1870 to 1871 in which France was defeated by Prussia led by Bismarck. Prussia then consisted of what now are the nations of Germany, Poland and parts of Austria. In this story, the French districts of Alsace and Lorraine, they have passed into Prussian hands. And this story particularly, it is set in the district of Alsace. So our narrator, Franz, he is living in Alsace. And theme of this story, you'll get the theme when you click this link in the description box. It will take you to the theme. Now quickly, the mind map, I've divided it into 15 key moments. So these are the 15 key points and I'll be discussing each point quickly. Let's begin with the morning. The morning that day, it was a bright day, but Franz was late for school. He dreads Hamel scolding. वो late है, उसने lesson तैयार नहीं किया. He hasn't learned rules of participles and he knows that Hamel is going to scold him. So he wants to skip school. वो सोचता है कि स्कूल जाने की बजाय वो नेचर को एंजॉय करता है. But then he is able to resist his temptation and he hurries off to school. So वो जैसे स्कूल की तरफ जा रहा है, टाउन हॉल से जब वो गुजरता है, so he finds crowd in front of the bulletin board. वहाँ पे एक बड़ा सा नोटिस बोर्ड है जिसके आगे एक huge crowd जो है, the crowd is standing there. The crowd, it's not in a happy mood. फ्रांस जो है वो देखता है, सोचता है कि अब क्या, अब नोटिस बोर्ड पे क्या नोटिस लगा हुआ है. But because he is late to school, he doesn't stop there, so he keeps on moving towards school. Now the school that day, usually there is great hustle and bustle at school. Opening and closing of text जो है वो सुनाई देते हैं, loud repetition of lessons होती है, ये सब बाहर street पे ही सुनाई देता है. इतना आवाज, इतनी noise होती है स्कूल में. The rapping of the teacher's ruler भी सुनाई देती है, so all could be heard out in the street. But that day it was different. Everything was so quiet. It was as quiet as Sunday morning. So students, they were already at their places. There was no commotion. Teacher जो है वो क्लास में up and down pace कर रहा है. एंड फ्रांस जो है वो सोचता है, उसने प्लान किया होता है कि वो इतनी हसल बसल स्कूल में जो है, इतनी कमोशन जो है, उसके बीचों बीच चुपके से क्लास में चला जाएगा और टीचर को पता भी नहीं चलेगा. सो ही हैज प्लान टू एंटर अननोटिस्ड अमिड्स द कमोशन, बट इट वाजंट हिज डे because that day everything was very quiet. All the students, they were already sitting at their places. So Franz चुपके से क्लास में एंटर नहीं कर सकता. So now once he is inside the class, फ्रांस जो है उसे वो टीचर को देखता है and finds the teacher to be dressed in a different way. The teacher is wearing his beautiful green coat, frilled shirt, black silk cap. So this dress is worn by him only on the special occasions. Special occasions कैसे? Inspection days या prize days. So teacher ने वो उस दिन वो special dress क्यों पहनी थी? So he is thinking about that, but he hasn't got the answer yet. So उसको वो school उस दिन और class उस दिन बहुत strange लगती है. Why? Because it is very quiet, one thing, and the other reason is the village people, they are also sitting on the back benches. So class में back benches है वो usually खाली रहते हैं, लेकिन उस दिन village people जो हैं, they were sitting on the back benches in the classroom and they were sitting very quietly. There was old Hauser, there was former mayor, former postmaster, and all these people, they were sad. So what was the reason? Then the teacher makes the announcement. So there is an announcement and Franz comes to know. Everything becomes clear to him after this announcement. So the announcement is that there's an order from Berlin to teach only German. So it was their last French lesson and the last day of M. Hamel too. So the new master was to join the next day. Now since French was not going to be taught in the school, so obviously the French teacher had to leave. So that is why everyone was sad there. Now what happens after the announcement? This announcement, it is like a thunderclap for France. Thunderclap means a surprise, a shock. It was shocking. And he realizes what must be on the bulletin board. So ये जब सुनता है फ्रांस तो उसे realize होता है कि okay, bulletin board पे भी यही news थी and he feels sorry for not learning his lessons of French. तो तब उसे realize होता है कि उसने अपनी French classes जो है वो miss कर दी हैं and now he doesn't even have the chance to learn it. He regrets wasting his time. उस time उसको books जो है अपनी friends लगती है. Even the teacher seems not so bad that time. He understands the reason of the teacher being dressed like that. Then village people, they were present there as a mark of respect for the teacher. The teacher had spent 40 years there. So everyone was sorry. Even the elders, they were sorry for not attending the school. They too have been postponing their learning. So maybe there was adult learning too. So elders also, they have been postponing their lessons, and even they were not sending their children regularly. So everyone is now repenting. They've realized their mistake. Then what happens? The teacher addresses the class. So teacher asks Franz a question, and of course Franz is not prepared, so he's not able to answer. But then the teacher doesn't scold him that day. Franz actually was worried in the morning that if he won't be able to answer, the teacher is going to scold. But the case is different. So teacher doesn't scold Franz that day. But the teacher says that you must realize where you have reached by thinking that there's plenty of time to learn. So teacher is making everyone realize that look, what is the result of postponing your lessons? He refers to all the people of Alsace, and then he says that they have a habit of postponing their learning. So most of the people, it's the habit of the people of Alsace, according to the teacher, that they postpone their things, they postpone their learning. And then he also says that now that Prussians, they have captured you, they are going to make fun of you because they'll be calling you Frenchmen, those Frenchmen who doesn't even know their mother tongue. So he says that they'll call them Frenchmen who don't know their mother tongue. So it's going to be very shameful for them. Now, after that, he starts praising the French language. So after addressing the class, then he blames parents and himself too. So he says that it's not only the parents who are to be blamed, but he himself should also be blamed for being casual. So he says that parents, they prefer to send their children to farm or to mills for an extra amount of money, and he also gave off to the students when he wished to go fishing, and often he had also sent his students to water his plants. So since he loved gardening, he had a small garden outside his classroom, and he had often sent students to water his plants, so that means that they were missing classes. So he says that even I should be blamed for being casual. Now, after all this, he praises the French language. So he says that it is the most beautiful language in the world, the clearest, most logical, and he inspires everyone there to guard their language. He says that as long as they hold fast to it, they have the key to their freedom. Now, how they have key to their freedom? Because of the language. It is because when they respect their language, they respect their culture, then nobody can force them to adopt another culture or to adopt another language. So that is the key to their freedom. So he says that he advises them to hold on to their language. So after that, he starts with a lesson. Franz is amazed to say that how well he understands his lessons that day. So he's teaching grammar. Now, whatever the teacher said that day, it seemed so easy to Franz. He was very attentive that day. The teacher also explained with patience. Hamel actually wanted to give his best that day. Whatever knowledge he had, he wanted to transfer that knowledge to the pupils that day. After the grammar class, there was a writing class. So he gave new copies to students. And on those copies, France Alsace. So these words were written beautifully. They looked like a flag. It was like the classroom. There was an aura of patriotism. Everyone was busy writing. Complete silence was there. So Franz wondered because he heard pigeons cooing on the roof, and he wondered if even the pigeons would be made to sing in German. So this innocent mind, innocent Franz, was actually trying to gather that how much of a force Prussians or control Prussians wanted to have on them. So he was thinking, everyone was writing, they were in a sad and solemn mood. Hamel, while the class was writing, he sat on his chair. He sits motionless. He gazes at the walls. He's looking around the classroom where he has spent 40 years. And now he has to leave the country the next day. Even old Hauser, he's sad and he cries. So when Hamel is in solemn mood, he's thinking, he's looking around. So at that time, the church clock strikes 12. And this coincides with Prussians marching under the class window. So there's a significance of Church clock striking 12 and Prussians at the same time marching under the window, because at this time when church clock strikes 12, it is the time of prayer, Angelus, that is the Catholic prayer, and it signifies peace. It signifies faith, and Prussians marching under the class window signifies violence. It signifies enslavement. So at that time, Hamel stands up. He wants to say something to the class, maybe the last few parting words, but he chokes. So he takes a piece of chalk and he writes "Vive la France" on the board. It means long live France. So he wants to show his patriotism, his patriotic feelings to the class, and wants to inspire them for the same. It is a tribute to his country and to his language. And with this, he gestures and he dismisses the class. So this is the story, 15 key points, a quick revision, and you can also watch this video. Here I have given a quick review and summary, a short summary. In Hindi also I have explained few important expressions from the examination point of view. So you can open the playlist and you can watch this video. These are the image credits and you know what you have to do. Question answers, I'll be showing you the questions. But before that, subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up and follow me on Instagram. So these are the important questions now. So these important questions, the answers you will get, I've given the link for the answers in the description box. So you can go and click that link for answers. 22 important questions I have given. So these are first 6. You can go through the questions quickly. These are the next few questions. You will get all the answers by clicking the link that is given in the description box. And these are the last few questions. So 22 important questions, and I am giving the link in the description box for answers so that you can get ready notes. So that's all for today. I hope that you liked the video. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more such mind maps. Bye for now and happy preparation.